Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, Patreon, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever, guys. While you're there, you go ahead and rate, review, subscribe, then head on over to the Facebook group and Twitter account and join in the discussion. Well, hello, everyone. It is a lovely Saturday afternoon here in Austin, Texas. Yes, I'm recording this one a little bit early. I have been lately recording shows on Monday and posting them. I got a new job. I'm trying to figure out my work schedule, seeing when I can do this. I want to post, earlier in the week, depending on how my schedule starts to work out. I might do this where I post or record on Saturday and then post Sunday night. So for those of you who don't know, there is the Facebook group and Twitter account, Dayspring Discussions, that you can head on over, and I post news stories throughout the week about stuff that comes up in the world of geekdom. You are free to post your own stuff there, and then of course we talk about these news stories and discuss them in a very safe and positive way, hopefully at least. And then what I do here is once a week I'll come here, review some of my favorite stories from the week, not all of them, but just ones that I feel like I have a little more opinion on and have a little more to say about. And then of course you guys, like I said, fire back here or on the social media groups. dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com is also a good place to fire back and let me know what you think. And that's really all it is, guys. I'm here because I love to talk about this stuff. I hope you love to talk about it too. And that's what it is, all about discussion. It's all about a community coming together and talk about things that we all enjoy and love. So, without further ado, let's get this party started. I always like to start off, of course, with a little segment that I previously called What's Got My Attention. But to be honest, I really am just going to start calling it, what am I watching? It's about stuff throughout the week, whether it's something new that I'm watching, something old that I'm watching, in the world of course, sci-fi, comic books, whatever. What am I watching? So, last week I told you I'm going through The Flash, kind of the earlier seasons. I started off wanting to watch the Arrowverse crossovers, actually. Got sucked into the early seasons of The Flash, which are great. I'm in the middle of season 2. I'll probably finish that season. That's when the show starts going a little off, so then I'll probably just skip to the Arrowverse crossovers for that. Archer, I'm going through FX's Archer again because the new season has premiered. Before I watch the new season, I want to go back and rewatch the first 7 seasons, but before he goes into like the coma and the dreams and the 3 seasons after that, I wasn't really interested in. But I love that Real Archer is back with new episodes, so I'm going to go back and rewatch before I start the new season, so I am watching those things. Now, what's new that I have been watching is HBO Max's Raised by Wolves. It's the new series, sci-fi series, actually, on HBO Max, helped produced by Ridley Scott. He actually, I think, directed the pilot as well, and you can totally tell it's kind of a Ridley Scott kind of feel, mainly because it's got androids in it. And if you know Ridley Scott, from Blade Runner, Aliens, he loves his androids, so this definitely has it. But if you haven't checked it out, just to give you a little synopsis here, I'm on episode 3, so here's what I got so far with story. The Earth has gone to shit. Big surprise. And there's a war between atheists and kind of believers, I guess you would say, like an ultra, religious group, I guess is what it is. And both groups have decided to leave Earth, and these 2 androids arrive on a distant planet with some embryos and hoping to repopulate the human race with these, and of course they're on the atheist side, anti-religion, and then come to find out that the kids, after certain years, start dying off. There's only one left, Caspian, I believe, or Champion was his name, something like that. But anyway, there's only one kid left. Then they get kind of a new group of kids that are part of this religious group, and Mother, turns out, is kind of this badass android necromancer that can pretty much just kill anybody and anything, and goes on a warpath at the end of, I believe, episode 1. And that's kind of where I'm at. And then you have these two other characters over on the religious side that aren't really, part of that group. They kind of infiltrated the group, and their story is probably the most interesting part to me in the whole series. Now, I'm almost done with episode 3, and it's one of those things with TV shows. First off, the pilot. The pilot of any TV show at the end is supposed to hook you. It's supposed to make you want to watch the next episode. If I get past the pilot, I give it 3 episodes. And if I'm into it after 3 episodes, if I care about the characters after 3 episodes, then I'll continue on. I am on the border of whether or not I want to continue, honestly. I don't know about this series. It's very hardcore sci-fi, I'll tell you that much. So if you're a Ridley Scott fan, I definitely recommend you check it out. It's deep sci-fi. So it's one of those things where I see an appeal to it, but I don't know. There's so many other things that I watch that I really love to watch that I don't know if I should continue to watch this. But at the same time, I feel like I myself haven't been watching enough new stuff, mainly because there's not a new stuff that I feel like I see a preview for and I crave to watch. So in that respect, like, this one's probably the one that's got my attention the most out of newer shows, but it's not good enough to where I'm craving to get to the next episode. So, but I know all I'm going to do is, if I don't watch this, I'm going to watch shows that I've already seen. So it's a mixed bag for me either way. But like I said, it's very sci-fi related, very deep sci-fi. So if you are a fan of kind of the Ridley Scott projects that he's done in the past, like Blade Runner, Alien, other things like that, I would recommend checking it out. For me, I don't know if I'm going to continue or not. I know they're past episode 3 and doing some other things. But if you watch the show, fire back, of course, Facebook group, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, and of course the Twitter account. Let me know if I should continue to watch, if you think there's something down the road that I might like a little better and draw me in more. Because like I said, the two imposters, I guess we'll call them, I can't remember their names, but they're the ones that I'm really kind of interested in. So Marcus, I think, is one of their names, perhaps. But if they get more interesting down the road, I might continue it. But like I said, if you've caught up or all caught up and you think I should continue, fire back. Let me know just why and if I should or not. So, is it that time in your life yet? Do you feel like your family is complete and you and your spouse want to not worry about changing that? Well, the decision can be difficult, but the recovery doesn't have to be. After your vasectomy, you gotta get testes. Doctors usually recommend a jockstrap and ice for your boys to help with comfort. Well, testes is the best of both worlds. This is for the man who is out on the go and needs to get things done. You get the ice packs from the freezer, strap up, and saddle up. The packs give you at least 20 minutes of comfort, even if you're just sitting around watching the game. And most important, guys, no wet spots. Put on the jockstrap under your briefs and go about your day. They come in 3 sizes, medium, large, and extra large, to get your right fit. Now head on over to testes.com. That's TEST-EEZE.com. TEST-EEZE.com. Your wife is going to thank you for the snip, and your testes are going to be thanking me. And I'm going to start off with this one. So, yesterday, it was announced that actor Aldous Hodge, best known for roles in the TV show Leverage, Straight Outta Compton, the film, Hidden Figures, the film, he is going to be joining Dwayne Johnson and Nick Santino, that was his name? Yes. He's going to be joining them for the upcoming Black Adam film by DC and Warner Brothers. Comes out December 22nd, 2021. And Hodge is going to be playing the character known as Hawkman. Now, for those of you not familiar, this character was introduced in 1941 by Garner Fox and Dennis Neville in Flash Comics #1. Now, Hawkman is an archaeologist, Carter Hall, who is actually a reincarnated Egyptian prince who was murdered, and he keeps coming back and reuniting with his lost love, Hawkgirl. and through that they have adventures. It's all about reincarnation, especially some of the later versions. There's a current series. I know Vendetti, I believe, is the writer who started the new one. Hawkman was one of those characters that I never really got into. But again, as I've gotten older, I've matured a little more, and they've kind of more refined. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Refined Hawkman a little bit. As again, like I said, he's all about kind of reincarnation, past lives, stuff like that. So that's kind of his niche. And because of that, I've kind of, started to enjoy the character more. Not as much, of course, as like a Superman or a Green Lantern or a Flash or an Aquaman, my top DC characters. But, I browse through the Hawkman comic every month when it comes out just to see what's going on in it. I really read it more in the earlier stages, the newer series. Now, like I said, I just kind of browse through it because it's lost my interest a little bit, but the concept of the character I think is really great. Now, he is going to be part of the Justice Society that's going to be in the film. You got Adam Smasher, played by Centino, and then they're also bringing in Dr. Fate and Cyclone. So they're all going to be part of this group. Whether they're fighting Black Adam or what's going on with it, we're not quite sure at this point. But I think it's cool they're bringing in the Justice Society. If you want to know more about Hawkman, obviously you can see him in other adaptations. The most recent one, of course, he was in the Arrowverse. Legends of Tomorrow. It popped up there with Hawkgirl. He's also been featured in a couple episodes of Smallville, and then the old Justice League Unlimited animated series. He's been in there too. So those are a couple versions. If you want to get to know the character a little bit without actually reading the comics, there you have it. You can go check that out. But yes, as far as the actor, I've seen Hidden Figures, Straight Outta Compton, a couple episodes of Leverage. Not really a huge fan of the series yet, but he is a capable actor who I believe can do a good job with this character. And I like that, this is a character that I can definitely see doing more things outside of the Black Adam, hopefully maybe getting his own movie or even part of a Justice Society movie down the road, or even an HBO Max series. I could see a Hawkman, Hawkgirl HBO Max series. That would be really cool, I think. So that'd be something. But this actor, this casting, I like it. This Black Adam film, what are you going to do? It's The Rock. He oozes charisma. He's excited about the project. How can you not be excited about this project? And I think it's going to, bring in a totally different aspect to DC films in regards to the fact that Black Adam is thousands of years old, kind of an old god. And, Hawkman kind of fits in with that, is that he goes back to Egyptian times. Dr. Fate as well is, very mystical and old. So they're kind of going for a motif in this film. And I think it's very different from what we've seen, in recent DC films. So I like that they're trying something different, going for a different vibe, hopefully. And I'm excited for it. So yes, Hawkman as Mr. Hodge. I approve of this, and I'm excited for the film. Fire back. Let me know what you guys think, of course. Facebook group, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, and, of course, the Twitter account. All right, so my next couple of subjects, actually, one of them is not DC, actually, is what it is. So I'm going to go into the non-DC. I know I started DC with Black Adam news, but I'm going to skip ahead, jump to some Marvel news, then I'll come back and finish it up with a couple of DC stories. So Disney and Marvel Studios has announced they are once again pushing back Black Widow. The film was supposed to come out in May. COVID happened, got pushed back to November. It's being pushed back again, May 7th, 2021. They're redoing their whole slate, which pushes Eternals back to November of 2021, and then Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings going back to July 2021. So these films that were supposed to come out, with February, I think? Yeah. Black Widow was supposed to come out in May, Eternals was supposed to be November, and then I think Shang-Chi was supposed to be February, but they're, all getting pushed back pretty much almost a year. As far as Eternals and Black Widow, they're going back a full year from what they originally were. Shang-Chi's only getting pushed back a couple months, I believe, from what it was supposed to be. But anyway, they're pushing back. And really, what I want to talk about with this story has to do with movie theaters in general. So in a couple of hours, I'm heading to the movie theater. Me, my wife, my daughter, and a few friends, we're going to go see Empire Strikes Back. I have not seen The Empire Strikes Back on the big screen since 1997 when the special editions came out. That's actually the only time I've seen the original trilogy up on the big screen. So I'm curious though. I'm assuming they're gonna show the newer special editions. The one where Luke doesn't fall and scream. I hated that. In the original special editions, when he fell at the end, he screamed, and I hated that. I could go into more detail, but I won't. But to me, it's, yes, going to see Star Wars on the big screen, but it's also about trying to support local movie theaters. Okay, Marvel, Disney, all these studios are pushing these films back because these are big budget films. Wonder Woman 84 got pushed back. With they're moving back, maybe with Marvel pushing Black Widow back, I can see Wonder Woman getting pushed back. You also have, I believe, the James Bond film is supposed to come out this year, and then of course Dune. Whether those films get pushed back like Black Widow did, I don't know, but it makes sense for the studios to do that because Tenet came out. And while, it made a modest amount for a movie, it is a big blockbuster film that needed to make a lot of money, 600-700 at minimum, to try to break even for the studio. And these big budget films like Black Widow, Wonder Woman 84, James Bond, they do need to make a good amount of money to actually be profitable or break even as far as the studios are concerned. So given that Tenet was kind of the first penguin in the water, and let's be honest, it got gobbled up by the seal, other studios are watching this saying, I don't think it's a good time for us to jump in the water right now. Let's wait a little while till there are better odds. So I totally get that movie theaters or movie studios want to wait until they feel like they can maximize their profits because they do spend a lot of money on these movies. So again, they want to get the most profit they can, especially a movie like Black Widow that they know can make them a lot of money. The problem is movie theaters are already open. They've opened back up in a lot of areas, and they're begging for movies because it's those big blockbuster movies like Black Widow, Wonder Woman 84, James Bond that are going to bring in the crowds and get people back into the movie theater. And if the movie studios keep pushing it back, then the theaters are going to suffer more and more to where they're going to have to close down again, may not even be able to open back up at all. And then where are the studios going to show their movies at? Streaming? I mean, they tried that with Trolls and Mulan, and yeah, they made some money, but not near enough as the studios spent on those films. So it's a rock and a hard place for both the studios and the movie theaters. Now, within the last month or two, I've gone and seen several films. I saw New Mutants. I saw Tenet. Going to see Empire Strikes Back up on the big screen, mainly because it's a discount ticket price too. And again, the theaters are trying to get people to come back in so they can keep going. And pushing back these movies are hurting the theaters, which in long term is going to hurt the studios. And maybe this is a sign of worse things to come. But I don't know what the solution is because I see both sides. I see the movie studios not wanting to release these films that they paid a lot of money for, and to lose profit. It's a business. Movie making is a business, and you want to get the best return you can on your investment, and that's what they're trying to do. Where movie theaters, as a business as well, are trying to stay afloat, stay open, and they can't do that without these movies bringing in people to their theaters. So it's quite the conundrum. And I don't know what the solution is, except for exactly. I don't know what the solution is, but the Marvel and Disney are trying to take the safe route, and I don't say that I blame them. So, what do you guys think about this? I know we all want to see Black Widow and these other Marvel movies as soon as we can, but are you disappointed to have to wait some more? Do you think this is smart for the studios? Do you have a solution for the movie theaters? One of my solutions for the movie theaters, honestly, is TV shows. Like, say, for instance, Mandalorian. Season 2 is coming out. It's a great produced show. It looks great on, my 60-inch TV with the lights out and sound up and all that. I think it would look great, actually, on a big screen. So if you told me before season 2 comes out, I can go to a movie theater and sit down and, it's only going to take like 8 or 9 hours maybe at tops. Not even that. No, 5 hours. 5 hours maybe tops to watch all of Mandalorian season 1. I pay $20. I sit there for 5 hours and I watch Mandalorian season 1 on a giant big screen, surround sound, great production value. I'd do it. And that's one of my solutions that I would recommend. But, we'll see where it goes, guys. Of course, fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. So my next story, I'm jumping back into the DC world. This might be my last story for today. I know I'm starting to get low on time. And my last story that I was going to talk about has regards to Justice League, Zack Snyder's cut. I don't know if I really want to kick over that hornet's nest on today's episode because it is really one hell of a hornet's nest. And God, I cannot wait for the All Inside documentary talking about the making of Justice League and how it's not even finished right now in a present sense. That's going to be something. So I'm going to do my next story. I'll see if I have time to talk a little bit about the whole Justice League drama that's ever ongoing. It's ongoing, God, why? But I'll see if I get to it. So the real story I want to talk about is that CW and Warner Brothers announced that Supergirl on the CW is going to have its final season this next season, season 6. So the cast, crew, creators, they all were sending out tweets and Instagram posts and all that saying how this will indeed be their last season for this series. Now, why it's ending, of course, ratings have been a little sluggish lately, actually, so that's partly due to it. Some people think it has to do with the fact that Melissa Benoist, the star of the show, recently had a baby, and maybe she wants to focus on that. Season 6 is usually when the contracts are ending for that first initial contract for series. And, maybe she doesn't want to renew. Maybe she wants to be a mom for a little while. I mean, you could say either or, I would say that if the show was still in good standing, I think, the studio would find a way and the CW would find a way to pay her enough, to take care of her enough to get her to stay. But because, the series isn't doing as well as some of the other shows, perhaps, on the CW or shows in general, I'm sure they're not willing to pay her more to keep her. So that's just how it is. And I'm sure, she'll be fine. She's a terrific actress. The cast is terrific. I'm sure they'll all be great. So Supergirl ending with season 6. And I'm talking about this because this is another Arrowverse show that is ending. Last year was the end of Arrow, the initial, granddaddy of the Arrowverse. Arrow ended. Now we have Supergirl ending, and there are other shows coming. Other shows that include The Flash, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow. We do have Superman and Lois that's on the way. Stargirl, which technically isn't part of the Arrowverse, but I think it's only a matter of time before, it brought into the fold, especially now that it's going to be strictly on the CW and not on the DC streaming service anymore, which if you haven't checked out Stargirl, I recommend it. It's a pretty cute show, so check that out. Once Supergirl came over from CBS to join the CW, they established kind of their Trinity. In DC Comics, you have your Trinity. You have your Superman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman. In comics, in the Marvel comics, you have your Trinity of Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and that was kind of the Trinity too when it came to the MCU. But what they established was the Trinity of the Arrowverse was Green Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl. And as of next year, 2 of the 3 Trinity is going to be gone. Added to the fact that Grant Gustin and the cast of Flash are coming to the end of their initial contracts, okay? So the Arrowverse is losing, 2 of the 3 staples, so to speak. All you're having left is the Flash, and it's almost like the end of an era of the initial primary show. DC Legends Tomorrow, which is, I find a very entertaining show because it's just so damn goofy. It started at the same time as Supergirl, I don't see it going on too much longer. Even if it does go on longer, I think you keep rotating the cast and all that. I think it's great, but is the Flash really enough to carry the Arrowverse? I think what it comes down to. I love Black Lightning, I really do, but when I think about the Arrowverse, I don't really think it's a part of it, even though it is, because they changed all that with Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I still consider it part of the Arrowverse, much like I consider Flash, Green Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends a part of it. So Superman and Lois, we'll see how that goes. It's a Superman show, so I'm excited for that. But to me, it's about the fact that with Supergirl ending, I feel like Flash is kind of going to be left on its own in regards to to Trinity, and whether that's going to go past season 7 that's coming up. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to unfold. That's really the question in my mind when I see that Supergirl is ending and Arrow is already done, is what's going to happen to Flash. It's going to be is it going to be out front and try to lead the Arrowverse forward, or is it going to fold like the other two shows and leave room for Black Lightning and Superman and Lois to take over as kind of the main Arrowverse shows? We'll wait and see. It's something I thought about when I saw this, and Supergirl being my least favorite of the Arrowverse shows, to be honest, it was my least favorite. I don't even think I finished the full season, actually. I watched up until Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then I took a break and I kind of skimmed through a couple episodes after that, and then I jumped to like the last 2 or 3 episodes of the season, just because, like I said, it wasn't as entertaining for me, which is a shame because I think Melissa Benoist does a great job as the lead. That's one of the things I think Batwoman suffered from, is I felt like the lead, Ruby Rose, isn't as strong as, say, the other leads like Grant Gustin, Melissa Benoist, or Stephen Amell. I don't think she's as strong, which is I don't think why I got into the show that much, why I only watched a couple episodes, and we'll see how season 2 goes with the new lead. But either way, the character of the show, Supergirl, has had some good stuff and some bad stuff, and we'll see how they end the series. I will say the one thing, my favorite part of this series has been John Cryer's Lex Luthor. I never thought, John Cryer from, 2.5 Men, Ducky from Pretty in Pink could play such a good Lex Luthor, but I really enjoy him as the Arrowverse's Lex Luthor, and I'm really entertained by him, to say the least. So, but that's it, guys. Of course, fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think about Supergirl ending. Do you love it? I know a lot of people love it. When I did an Arrowverse poll, it was like 2 years ago or so, where I was, finding out who, people love the most in the Arrowverse. It ended up Brainiac 5, and I believe, what's her name? Lena Luthor? Is that her name? They won it because the Supergirl crew was so passionate. How, Stephen Amell, you don't think he's better looking than, say, Brainiac 5? I don't get that, but I'm not going to judge up that old stuff because there are some super hardcore Supergirl fans that voted the hell out of my little poll, and I'm a schlub nobody. And the fact that they actually took the time to vote on my silly little poll means they're definitely passionate, so I will give them that. But either way, guys, that is going to be it for me today. I'm just at the end of my time, so I'm going to not kick over the hornet's nest that is Justice League, and I will save that for another time. But, of course, you can go on to the Facebook group and Twitter account, look at those stories that I've posted, post some yourself if you have some more stuff that has not been posted. Comment, discuss, and let's have a good time with it, guys. Talk about the things we love. That's what I'm here to do, and that's why I made Dayspring Discussions. That's it, guys. Hope you guys have a good week. You can find me personally, Slim Dayspring 12, on Twitter and Instagram. If you're listening to this show on YouTube, do me a favor, go over, listen on Spotify or Apple or one of the other shows, or at least download if you can, because I get a couple of pennies for every download, and you know what? I really appreciate it on that as well. But if you don't want to, totally understand. I'm just glad you're listening, but that's it. Go out, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives. Until next time, guys, May the Force be with us all.